for making up stories. Norway is a Scandinavian country with a rugged coastline and waves as high as 17 meters. What makes the waves, Madame? Ada interrupted. Hush, Madame replied sternly. The Norwegian Sea is... Would the waves be taller than our house? Excuse me? The waves. The gardener says that lovely tree in front of our house is 15 meters high, and the tree is taller than the roof. So the waves in Norway would be taller than our house, n'est-ce pas? Isn't that so? Ada looked out the window, imagining the sea swelling across the yard. Water pressed against the glass as if she were a fish inside a tank. Madame sighed and closed her eyes. She did this often during geography lessons. Geography must make her sleepy, Ada thought. Ada ran her finger along the globe and rested it on Greece. The Greek islands looked like clouds breaking apart to reveal a patch of clear blue sky. Greece was where her father lived. Mamma had told her that the last time she'd asked where her father was. Then, Lady Annabella Byron's mouth had grown small and firm, which meant Ada was not to ask any more questions. Ada could not remember meeting her father, though her mother said she had. She kept the presents he had sent her, a ring, a locket, a length of ribbon, and a tiny picture of Italy. She knew he was a poet, which sounded boring to Ada. All the poetry books she read were full of dull rhymes about children who felt peaceful and good because they listened to their parents. Ada found it hard to imagine any children like that. She decided instead that her father was a great ship captain. That would explain why he lived in a country surrounded by the sea. The door swung open, and a woman with brown curls, sharp eyes, and the posture of a queen stepped into the room. Mamma! Instinctively, Ada ran toward her. Then she caught herself at the sight of Lady Byron's fierce expression and stopped to curtsy instead. Good morning, Ada, Lady Byron said. Good morning, Madame. How is Ada's schoolwork? Her French and Italian are excellent, but she is lazy in mathematics and geography. Her daydreams disrupt our lessons. Ada groaned quietly. Nothing made her mother angrier than daydreaming. Ada, I will not have you ruining your education with nonsense and flights of fancy. No more geography and no more stories at bedtime until you focus. But, Mamma, that's enough, Annabella scolded, turning to glare at the teacher. And you, Madame, keep Ada's mischief to a minimum. Annabella left the schoolroom, leaving a glum-faced Ada and Madame behind. That night, a strange, muffled sound woke Ada from her sleep. She crept down the hallway and peeked between the banister rails to see better. Below, her mother's hands were pressed to her face to hide her tears. The sound of her sobs echoed up the stairs into Ada's own heart. Two servants rushed into the hallway below, and Ada scurried out of sight. Lord Byron is dead! No. Yes. Shall I wake Miss Byron? No. Lady Byron says the girl is not to be told. Ada retreated to her room. She closed the door and climbed back into bed, pulling the covers up under her chin. She lay there for some time, trying to decide how she felt about her father's death. The next morning, her mother said nothing at breakfast. Ada didn't either, but made sure to be extra polite. Before excusing herself for her lessons, she stood on tiptoe and planted the softest kiss she could on her mother's cheek. Ada thought she saw her mother's eyes grow wet, but Annabella waved her away. Ada heard Madame calling her to start the first lesson of the day, but she walked in the opposite direction to the far end of the house. There hung a portrait covered by a green velvet curtain. Ada had never been allowed to look at the portrait, nor had she found the courage to defy her mother. But today was different. She took a deep breath and pulled back the curtain to see her father's face for the very first time. Her father's clear blue eyes looked just like the ones that peered back at her when she saw herself in the mirror. He wore a heavy red robe embroidered in gold and seemed to be listening to someone speaking just outside the paint.